is a gentleman who's actually performed many times here, and he's always welcome. So, he does his poetry and he plays his trombone. He's known as Trombone Poetry, but he's also known as Paul Taylor. So please welcome the man with the rhyme and the blowing, Mr. Trombone Poetry.
Was the trombone, or the start of it, and this is the poetry, we hope. And I'm going to start with a poem called Terminus, written on a train, needless to say. As I sat down, I noticed her across the aisle, but smiles are scarce on morning trains. At the terminus, I noticed her neighbour snoozing, suggested she nudge him as we all got off. Wakey, wakey. Ice now broken, she smiled and dazzled. We spoke and joked as in a dream. Then Jesus crept in. Wakey, wakey. Stuff about art, life and meaning and the universe in this compressed set, and this is the first example of it, I suppose. Obviously we dealt with love, that's been sorted out in the first poem. And this was inspired by reading stuff about art and artists and how they, all the exciting things that they do. I was very moved by it, so I wrote this thing. It's called Cross Purposes, or Mr. Puter tries postmodernism again. Thinking about an artist who crosses the boundaries between art and science, or the personal and the social, I move from the bathroom to the kitchen via the living area without really crossing any boundaries. This is disappointing. These are different places, and it is clear enough that baking is not bathing. And what's more, if I can't cross boundaries, it's going to be even trickier to transgress them. I decided that the way forward is to go ahead and posit a boundary between the kitchen and the living area. Thinking about another artist who pushes the boundaries between art and life, I decide to do likewise. Inspired and excited, I start to push the boundary between the kitchen and the living area, working from the sofa. Carried away by enthusiasm, I overdo things and push the boundary too far, leaving me with no kitchen. Brilliant, it's much better and cheaper than hiring a rhythm section. Identification. Shunning the TV, ignoring the empty magazines, plucking an old phrase book from a jacket pocket. La peur, fear, terror. La crainte, fear, terror. Le frayeur, fear, terror. La terreur, fear, terror. L'effroi, fear, terror. L'épouvante, fear, terror. Mr. Taylor, the dentist will see you now. There's a website, trombonepoetry.com. There's a blog on there. There's a monthly chronicle which didn't even come out this month, but there we go, it usually does. So, there's a page on Facebook, of course, if you want to be friends in a kind of likey, hands off, digital kind of way. Okay, this is my final bit now. It's another foundling. This has been extracted from a journal called Hackney Today. I do get around. Hackney-based designers entertained the crowds with a musical street parade. A performance by the borough's green entourage of cross-dressing villagers was hilarious. Most of the events were probably not worth doing. Hackney Community Law Centre has launched a primary school transformed into a bar for counsellors for the month-long programme. Buckets are still allowed. Everyone who attended was given 2 hours to lose consciousness. Thanks very much.